This is Apple's new 24-inch M3 iMac. And I really like it, but it has some asterisks. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here, and as I said, that is Apple's new 24-inch iMac, equipped with its all-new 3nm M3 processor on the inside. And despite the identical appearance to the last generation model, there's still kind of a lot of stuff to talk about. So, without any further ado, let's jump into it. Okay, I lied. I know, that was very fast, but I want to make sure that we can keep producing content like this. So if you want to see more videos, be sure to like and subscribe. I also have to thank our sponsor for this video. It is sponsors like SetApp that are making videos like this possible. So if you are interested in what SetApp does, how you can get more than 240 applications to use on your iPhone and your Mac for one low monthly price, be sure to check out the link down below in the description. And yes, I will give you more details a little bit way through this video. I promise you're going to love it. So let's go ahead and get into what you guys are really here for. The new iMac looks the same as it did before. It's still using a 4.5K display, which measures in 23.5 inches, though Apple rounds it up to 24. That display measures in at 4480 by 2520 in terms of resolution, which gives you a pixel density of 218. Unlike the Studio Display and the new MacBook Pros, this did not get a brightness upgrade, so you're still sitting at 500 nits in terms of typical brightness. It has the same aluminum design as it does in the past, but Apple now says the aluminum body is using 100% recycled aluminum. There's also more recycled parts on the inside machine, so Apple's doing its job to get closer to that very carbon neutral pledge that it has coming up quite soon. It comes in the same colors it did before. The base model comes in blue, green, pink, or silver, but the upgraded models also come in yellow, orange, and purple. One thing that continues to drive me mad is how the back of the machine is this gorgeous, vibrant, anodized color. In the front is this much more pastel, washed out color. I don't understand it. Built into the very top of the display is a 1080p FaceTime camera. Apple does have many of the effects built in, such as Studio Light and Portrait Mode, that definitely help when you've got a messy background going on, though it's just okay. I mean, it's still just okay camera quality. Honestly, I'd rather just go ahead and mount my iPhone on the top of any of the Belkin adapters and use the built-in cameras on my iPhone because I just think they look a whole lot better. I've mentioned a couple times that there are two different models of this machine. If you do upgrade to that second higher end model, you get double the storage, so it goes from 256 to 512 of solid state storage on the inside. You're getting the Ethernet built in to the power supply, and you're getting two additional ports on the back. Both the base model and the higher end model include two Thunderbolt 4 ports, but the high end model has two additional USB 3 Type-C ports, so it gives you 4 total ports on the back. One of the things though that frankly irks me is Apple inexplicably decided to leave all of its peripherals as Lightning. That's right, all of the peripherals that can ship with this machine still are equipped with Lightning. Apple's Magic Mouse 2 still has that random Lightning port at the bottom. No redesign or even just moving to USB-C. Not done. Same thing goes for the Magic Trackpad. Still Lightning here on the end of it. And of course, Apple's Magic Keyboard, complete with Touch ID, still uses Lightning there on the front. Now, these are color matched accessories, which do look sleek. Like, I'm not complaining about the look of these, especially Magic Keyboard, Magic Trackpad. I love them. And I honestly don't hate the Magic Mouse. I just think the Lightning port is downright dumb. And Apple could have come up with something better and more elegant than this. I would have preferred a proprietary charger or some MagSafe contraption versus having to flip this thing upside down like a sad turtle whenever you need to plug it in for 2 minutes to continue working. It just seems like a misstep, and Apple has been chided very much so since the release of this device, and they've still yet to introduce a successor. So I don't know what Apple's plans are for these peripherals long term, when Apple will make the move to USB-C, because of course they will, maybe early next year when Apple goes to the back to school season, but who knows. But for right now, these are Lightning, and it's just really kind of annoying. Obviously the biggest upgrade here is that Apple is moving to the new M3 processor. If I can hit timeout for just a moment, I have to thank our sponsor for this video, SetApp. Now, this is not part of the ad read or anything like that, but legitimately, do you guys know what I do every time I get a new Mac? One of the very first things, I install SetApp. I've been a paying SetApp user for years, and it just keeps getting better and better. They just keep adding new apps that are so fun to just explore and are all included with your one subscription. They just added new ones for like managing passwords, for transcribing speech, and working with PDFs. It's really cool. So power up your workflow with 240 plus apps for daily tasks, all under one subscription. Get SetApp and enjoy access to a hand-picked selection of vetted apps for Mac and iOS. Find apps in moments with SetApp's AI-based search and tackle tasks like Mac maintenance, editing, writing, design, money management, and more. Try SetApp free for 7 days. There's a link down below in the description, or you can just scan this QR code that's on the screen. Do that. It's way even easier and faster. Thanks again to SetApp for sponsoring this video. Apple has stuck with an 8-core CPU, but they have upgraded the GPU cores. So now, instead of just 7 or 8-core GPUs, you can get this with an 8 or a 10-core, so 1 to 2 additional GPU cores. So on top of the improved architecture and improved GPU performance, you're getting additional cores with these machines, which is absolutely going to be a benefit, as we'll find out when we get to benchmarking. The M3 includes a bunch of benefits with it. Apple has included an AV1 decoder on the M3 for the first time. We're also seeing things like dynamic caching. There's the new next generation GPU architecture that I mentioned. We have hardware accelerated ray tracing. There's just a bunch of little improvements along the way that Apple's built into the M3 over the M2, or in this case, the M1, because this one used to have an M1 on the inside. There was no M2 version. Apple says the new M3 is twice as fast as the M1 that was in the prior generation of this machine. Let's take a closer look at the performance of the M3 and run a bunch of benchmarks. On the Geekbench single-core benchmarks, we went from a 2330 to a 3011. That's going to be a 30% faster single-core score. Moving on to the Geekbench multi-core benchmarks, we again went from an 8319 to 11623. This time we're seeing 40% faster on that multi-core performance. Finally, for the Geekbench graphics benchmarks, I tested in both OpenCL and in Metal, and in this case, I was testing the 7-core M1 to the new 8-core M3. For the Metal benchmark, we went from a 31904 to a whopping 48104. Just great performance here for that GPU. For memory, Apple used to provide an 8 or a 16 gig option. Now you can go all the way up to 24, so 8, 16, or 24. If you were to completely spec this thing out, you could choose the M3 processor with the 10-core GPU. You can get up to 2 terabytes of internal storage and 24 gigs of unified memory. Let's talk connectivity. So some things here have been upgraded, some haven't. What hasn't changed first? Apple is still doing the same thing with Ethernet. So the Ethernet, if you want to hardwire your machine to the internet, is included on the power supply. So you can plug it in there, keeps it out of the way, then you have one cable running up to your desktop, which is really handy. It's a very elegant solution. But it's not included on the base model. It's actually a $30 upcharge if you want to swap out the power supply for the one that does include the Ethernet port. It's just odd that Apple doesn't want to take that $30 hit and just put the Ethernet port on everything. But it is not included on the base model. It is an upcharge. Now, if you pick up the larger version of the machine, Apple does include the Ethernet there stock. So if you're picking from one of the two, pre-built options, the higher end model does have the Ethernet built in automatically. What has changed, though, is the wireless connectivity. Apple has gone from Wi-Fi 6 to Wi-Fi 6E, so if you're going wireless, that's a nice benefit. Wi-Fi 6E opens up the 6 gigahertz spectrum of the bandwidth, which is great in crowded apartment buildings, large cities where there's a lot of congestion in the spectrum, and you just have a little bit more open there, and you can even see speed improvements because of that. It's not as good as Wi-Fi 7 will be, but it's definitely a boost. Again, especially in very crowded areas and communal living areas. Then Bluetooth has been upgraded, going from Bluetooth 5 to Bluetooth 5.3. So here are my thoughts. Honestly, I think this machine is a solid upgrade for what it is. I mean, we are looking at a few years in the upgrade and there was no M2 version. And I have no qualms with either the M2 or the M3. I think the M3 is plenty of power for your average user. It's probably overkill for most tasks. Sure, it's not going to turn this thing into a gaming rig by any means, but that's why Apple has other machines like the Mac Studio or even the higher end Mac Minis. I just don't get why Apple just refuses to build a higher end or larger option of this. Like, why is there no M3 Pro version or M3 Max version of this for someone who just wants to buy an all-in-one and be done with it? Apple had the iMac Pro for so long and a 27-inch iMac for so long, and now they're like content. Apple actually confirmed they were not working on a new 27-inch version of the iMac. Now that I get, because we're sitting at 24 inches, 27 isn't a big jump, but maybe Apple is working on something like a 32-inch version. That I think would be cool. I would really like to see a 32-inch all-in-one iMac with some cool color options, new upgraded peripherals, and an M3 Max on the inside, maybe an M3 Ultra if we're going to get crazy about stuff. That could be a compelling machine for people who want that all-in-one experience. Because with this, Apple's really just sticking for families and consumers doing your basic work, your normal everyday stuff, social media, maybe editing some photos, maybe throwing something together in iMovie, but nothing that much crazier. This is a very solid machine, and you should have no qualms picking one of these things up. But I think Apple could do more, and my hope is that they will. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments or on Twitter at Andrew_OSU. You can also let me know on Threads at AndrewO'Hara941. Thank you again to SetApp for sponsoring this video. If you haven't done so already, go down there, hit that link, follow it, and get your free trial of SetApp. Otherwise, stay tuned. I got a lot more videos coming your way.